Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show. This time it evolved. That is half a year. The evolution from the Jinyu ship to the Supreme ship took half a year, which is already considered fast. What's more, it's still in a place without any lifting equipment or auxiliary evolution machinery. Fortunately, this is the universe, there is no gravity. No matter how heavy it is, the mechanical arms of those spacecraft can withstand it. At the beginning, Zian and Qijingi studied together. Later, Lu Yuyu, who had been studying next to him, also joined in. Lu Yuyu is undoubtedly a genius-level evolutionist. In addition, he is a 6th grade evolution master, so it is not that difficult to blend in. As the saying goes, when 3 people are walking together, there must be one teacher. 3 people study together. The evolution of the starship was completed in just half a year. Half year later, 3 giant ships with a height of 700,000 meters and 2 ships with a height of 600,000 meters were parked in front of everyone. It has a domineering appearance, a ferocious muzzle, and densely packed missile launch bays. All of them illustrate the terror and danger of these 3 starships. Around the starship, Mr. Lu and others kept making compliments. This shows how satisfied they are with this evolution of the starship. Zian said with a smile, at this time, everyone, take another 3 days of rest. These 3 days, prepare well. Mr. Lu, you guys should get used to the new starship in the past 3 days. After 3 days, our starship will have evolved and we will start executing the second plan immediately. This past 6 months, the evolution of the brilliant fleet has naturally not stopped. More than 10 days ago, the brilliant fleet had begun its collective evolution. This evolution, its 6 Leader 7 evolution, will be over in 3 days. Since then, brilliant fleet. Everyone enters advanced deep spaceship state. Its combat power. There will be another big increase. Not surprisingly. Even if you encounter an immortal ship, they are all capable of fighting. You always say there is a second plan, a second plan. What is the second plan? Qin Fuyue was still so clingy, holding Zian's elbow, and asked in a calm voice. Those big beautiful eyes reflected Zian's cheeks, and the love seemed to overflow from her eyes. On the contrary, it was Begonia. In front of others, he is still so cold and aloof. Perhaps just every night with Zian. Only Zian could see her passion and madness beneath her coldness. Qin Fuyue's question was also curious to everyone present. They couldn't help but look at Zian. Zian smiled and stopped being pretentious. He looked at Miao Xiaomi next to him, who seemed to have become even more silent, and said with a smile, this second plan. It's very simple. Just to completely wipe out the hyena human race. At least the hyenas of the Inhumans have been completely wiped out. At the same time, let's see if we can rescue Xiaomi's relatives. Actually, I have always had a premonition, a 6th sense that Miao Miao's relatives are still alive. So our second plan is to wipe out the hyena race and rescue Xiaomi's relatives. As soon as this statement came out, others looked at Miao Xiaomi one after another. The cat was startled for a moment, then suddenly raised its head to look at Zian with a dull expression. The next second, hot tears fell down, and suddenly her delicate body flashed, and when she reappeared, she was already in front of Su Liuan. It really jumped into Zian's arms like a little kitten and hugged Zian's waist tightly. Nothing was said. It seems like everything has been said. Zian lowered his head and stroked Miao Xiaomi's hair lovingly, and then couldn't help it. I pinched little Miao's pink and tender erect cat ears. Miao Xiaomi immediately trembled, although her face could not be seen. But it can be clearly felt that her delicate, dove-like neck is all red. The pair of cat ears seemed to have turned red. Miao Xiaomi still didn't want to come out of Zian's arms. She just wanted to hold Zian like this, forever. Until the universe is destroyed. After Everyone, including Zian, we can all clearly feel that Miao Xiaomi has become different. There is always a smile on her beautiful, baby fat face. Especially whenever I look at Zian. The little arrogance in the past has all turned into a gentleness like water wrapped around the fingers. The love in the eyes. No matter how hard I try, I can't suppress it. Zian's heart skipped a beat when he saw it. Suddenly discovered. This usually arrogant meow cat suddenly stopped being arrogant. He became a living cat demon. 3 days passed by. All the starships of the brilliant fleet have broken through to the 7th level deep space ship. One step closer to the Star Destroyer. And this day, the destruction and rescue plan also officially began. Speaking of this second plan, I have to say is, when Zian and the others destroyed the base camp of the Tianhuoyan Bronze tribe and escaped into the anti-universe. Sure enough, the turbulent flow of space brought them to a completely different area. Zian will locate the people on the list of human races in the universe every day. I found that the closest one would take hundreds of years to reach. The farthest one even reached the terrifying distance of 3 leap years. At last, Zian began to try to target the enemies from the Inhumans and insects. This attempt finally found. The hyena tribe he targeted was not far away and could be reached in a day at most. With a thought in his heart, he quickly located Miao Xiaomi's mother and relatives. This attempt. It was discovered that her relatives were in an area with a strong hyena human being located. Zian naturally understood what this meant. Represents. Some of the hyena humans who originally surrendered to the Earth eventually escaped from the human area. Went to the hyena tribe where the Inhumans are located. Bring Miao Xiaomi's relatives there as well. The reason why I didn't tell Miao Little Mi's relatives to solve it. Zian estimated that it could probably be used as a hostage. The specific reason why they were not killed is not important. The important thing is, the hyenas and humans have already stretched their necks under their own blades, and Miao Xiaomi's relatives are also close to him. Zian has no reason not to carry out rescue. And the activities of the universe will not be too fast. Half a year down. It used to take 1 day to get there, but now it only takes 20 days. The movement trajectories of anti-universes are not the same. Some spatial barriers move very fast, some movements are very slow. For example, this space barrier has a very slow movement trajectory. Everything is ready. The fleet rested for half a year. Let's go again. And this time, the combat effectiveness is even more terrifying. 3 supreme ships. No matter where they are the top group of super strong people. You can definitely destroy the hyena clan easily and save Meowth's relatives. More than 20 days later, the fleet successfully arrived at the location of the space barrier. After Zian confirmed that there was no problem, he immediately issued an order, everyone, prepare. My sixth sense tells me that the location of the inhuman race's stupid hyena race and the space barrier between the anti-universe and the anti-universe is right here. Follow my attack position later and open the space barrier. Liao Wenhao, but remember, this time we don't just want to completely destroy the hyena human race, which is better than the alien race. We also need to rescue Xiaomi's relatives. Wait a minute, Mr. Liu, please suppress the whole crowd, and Mr. Chen, please follow us to save people, wait until we rescue people. Everything I looked at was crushed to pieces, leaving no one behind. Elderly people, children, women, even the placenta of the hyena human race is still in the belly of a pregnant woman. Kill them all. Let them know the real consequences of opposing the human race in our universe. Attention everyone. Attack. With Zian giving an order. A shell exploded somewhere. After, a large number of artillery shells began to follow. Only one round, a huge space crack with a width of more than 500,000 meters appeared out of thin air. It's still Mr. Liu. Take the lead. Rush towards the opposite side. And following the cracks in space, you can clearly see, opposite. It is that bright and prosperous star system. They have no idea. A true winter of despair. Coming soon, in a dark dungeon. In the separate cells, various reptiles and dirty animals are constantly appearing. The disgusting smell went straight into the nose, making people feel nauseous and nauseous. In each cell, people from the civet tribe seemed to have no sense of smell. Everyone was silent. Them. The stage of anger and despair has long passed. There is only endless silence now. Them. I can't die even if I want to. Because there is no way to blow your head off instantly. Those who cannot blow their brains out can be treated in a very short time under fully intelligent monitoring. So, looking for death is asking for trouble. Everyone was silent. Only in one of the cells. An extremely graceful figure was sitting upright. Although it is in a dark and dirty dungeon. However, it seemed that nothing around her could have an impact on her. Elegant and mature. It seemed like I remembered something. The corners of her delicate mouth suddenly turned up in a beautiful arc. Although I am stuck here, I don't know what my future will be like today. After all, there is a sense of calmness and concern in my heart. She can persist. Her daughter. It is her greatest pride in her life. Being able to follow a peerless genius like Zian is the greatest luck in her life. Every time I think of my daughter, I can't help but smile warmly. Thinking about it, I couldn't help but sigh. When can I meet my daughter again? No. It should be that it is impossible in this life. Just when this thought just came up. Suddenly, she seemed to feel something in her heart. He suddenly raised his head and looked in a certain direction. There was a look of surprise on her beautiful face. Her cultivation is not very strong. Just a deep spaceship captain. But he can still sense an extremely powerful, suffocating energy wave coming. She didn't understand what was going on. But I don't know why. The heart suddenly beats a little fast. The next second, hear it very clearly. A series of extremely violent explosions sounded all around. The terrifying explosion wave made the extremely solid dungeon tremble. That extreme energy seemed to tear the whole day apart. She couldn't imagine what level of battle this was. But before she could react, suddenly, the dungeon door was suddenly opened from the outside. Then it was clearly visible that several people from the hyena tribe were running toward them in panic, holding weapons. There was horror on his face, but the eyes looking at them were full of ferocity and bloodthirsty. It was a look like looking at a dead person. Kill them. One of them, who looked like the leader of the hyena tribe, pointed at them and said something. Immediately, the hyena humans behind him rushed over with ferocious expressions. Only they just moved. The leading hyena human race's expression suddenly changed wildly, and he suddenly raised the knife and slashed behind him. But it's of no use. A bright cold light flashed past. His big head soared directly into the air, and blood spurted out. Immediately afterwards, a tall figure holding a knife walked out of the door. He is tall and slender. Through the glass of the space armor helmet, a familiar yet unfamiliar face came into Miao Linglan's eyes. This face. She had never really seen it. But ever since my daughter joined the brilliant fleet, especially in the past few years, it's hard for her not to see it. Known as the pride of the Earth Federation. Known as the pride of the human race in the universe. The dazzling genius. Zian. Miao Linglan was shocked. With her thinking, she couldn't figure out how Zian could appear here. How could it possibly appear here? Here. But it's the hinterland of the Inhumans. How could it possibly come? How come? How dare you come? Besides, now that he is here, does that mean? Thinking of this, she hurriedly looked behind Zian. As expected, Behind Zian, one after another tall, young, sexy, and beautiful figures walked out. Everyone is wearing space armor, showing their perfect posture to the fullest. Perhaps only the old woman and two middle-aged women closely following Zian were not so eye-catching. But even more explosive. Think. 3 of them. Shockingly, they are all vertical star powerhouses. Their strength was clearly displayed without any cover-up. The terrifying coercion of the Zhongxing powerhouse is so overwhelming that people can't breathe. But that's not the point. The point is, Miao Linglan, at one glance, was fixed on one of the beautiful and vigorous figures. Her expression was blank. Immediately, panic spread across his face. Xiaomi? Why are you here? Miao Linglan sounded panicked until her daughter appeared in front of her. She had never felt despair before, and she felt despair for the first time. But Miao Tho didn't answer her right away. He just looked at his mother with great surprise, and then turned his head. His eyes filled with hatred stared at one of the hyena humans. Without thinking, he immediately killed him. Miao Linglan's face changed wildly again, and she said in her original voice, "Be careful. He is from deep sky." However, before she could finish her words, she was stunned on the spot. Because she is at this moment. Only then did he suddenly feel the majestic biological energy from his daughter. #B. Not weaker than her at all, even surpassing her biological energy. This is War Emperor level? Miao Linglan was speechless. Just stared blankly. Until after his daughter, who used to only hide behind him, killed the hyena human like chopping melons and vegetables. She suddenly woke up. At this time, Miao Xiaomi finally cried out, "Mom." Then he rushed straight towards Miao Linglan. A sword split opened the protective door, and then the mother and daughter hugged each other tightly. Tears flowed uncontrollably. Zian didn't have much time to wait for them to be gentle, and immediately waved his hand. The others were waiting, and he stepped forward immediately. Easily split the protective doors of the cell open one by one. Rescued the imprisoned civet humans one by one. Or rescued Miao Xiaomi and his relatives one by one. Because they are imprisoned here. They are all Miao Little Me's relatives. Grandfather. Uncle. Auntie. Auntie. Miao Xiaomi called over one by one. Looked surprised. 50,000 was not expected. Relatives who are related to you by blood. No one died. All survived. This made her extremely happy. None of Miao Xiaomi and her relatives thought that not only would she survive, but she would also be able to go out one day. But soon, I started to worry again. I'm worried that Zian and the others are trapped in the hinterland of the Inhumans. How should they escape? The hyena human race of the Inhumans. This is not an easy person. That is a powerful existence that truly has the captain of the Jinyu ship. Zian didn't explain anything to them. Go out first and then talk. The few people nodded quickly, without asking any questions, and hurriedly followed Zian and ran outside. And this way, they were even more frightened. Because along the way, there are all the mutilated corpses of the hyena human race. The ground was almost covered with blood. But there was no one to stop them. In doubt, when they left here completely and saw the situation outside. One counts as one. Everyone looked up in shock. Deafening explosions occurred one after another. Surrounded by the screams and screams of countless people. Look at the sky again. 3 huge starships with a length of 600,000 to 700,000 meters are wantonly destroying all living creatures in sight. Among them is a 600,000-meter-long starship. It was right above their heads. Various artillery shells were continuously fired, clearing a large area within 100 miles of their location. Except for these 3 supreme ships, there are also 5 town ships, a large number of vertical starships, void ships, and immortal ships, which look so dazzling. Look further. It was the splendor of planets exploding like fireworks. Today for the hyena terrans of the Inhumans. Definitely the end of the world. Planet after planet was first shot through by various flames and low-power cannonballs. The death rate exceeds 20%. But the number of injured people exceeded 60%. The reason why? Very simple. It is to make the hyena human race feel what real pain and despair is. I really want to kill them all. It's actually very relaxing. Especially in front of the 3 supreme ships. There is no need for main guns, secondary guns, or missiles to launch shells. Just the anti-aircraft guns above. You can easily shoot a planet with one shot. But the supreme ship? For a supreme ship, don't talk about destroying a star system. Shanghai is not even a problem. Of course. The premise is that all the enemy supreme ships in this star sea can be killed. There is no more enemy supreme ship. This sea of stars. They can all be completely destroyed by the supreme ship. A main gun. It can even explode a star system with ease. It's the supreme ship. Inside the bright number. Zian's face was expressionless and his eyes were cold. Through the glass of the cockpit, you can clearly see the hyenas screaming and escaping below. There are many children, old people and women among them. But Zian pressed the launch button without hesitation. A large number of fire bombs were launched, destroying the sea and instantly covering everything on the ground. In flames. These hyena humans, who were originally ugly and ferocious looking, have become even uglier. Zian didn't have any fluctuations in his heart. Actually, it's not just him. Including the girls. Start killing. There is no mercy. In this interstellar age of the universe, there is no room for the virgin bitch to survive. Even if it is as large a population as the human race in the universe. There haven't been a few virgin bitches either. The reason is very simple. Whenever one pops up, it ranges from being yelled at or even beaten by others. More importantly, the Universal Human Federation directly dispatched and arrested him as a spy. Joe, holy mother bitch? Such is this hyena human race. When you first tortured and killed the civet human race, was there any mercy at all? The children, old people, and women of the civet tribe. Which of the hyena humans was spared? Since they haven't let go. But he asked his own people to let go of the children and elders of the hyena human race. Are you kidding me about the universe? What's going on? What? When fighting against the Inhumans and insects, their elders, children, and women were all spared. Or do you think that the Inhumans and insects will let go of the elderly, children, and women of the cosmic human race? Such a holy bitch. Kill one on sight. The only way to deal with these rebellious races is with such iron-blooded and bloody methods. Only then can we continue to suppress those vassal races with evil intentions. Let them know the true consequences of betraying the human race. Tr. How do you think the 3 peak ethnic groups, who control hundreds of millions of ethnic groups under their command, rarely rebel? The reason is that they don't dare. No one dares to rebel. No one can bear the consequences of rebellion. Zian just watched them with calm eyes as they burned and screamed. After that I felt it was almost done. They should feel remorse. Then something moved in my heart. The high explosive shell of the secondary battery is fired. In an instant, all their lives were harvested. Then, go to the next location. Killing. On and on. Life. Constantly being harvested. Human life is really worthless. Above the sky. Mr. Liu and the others did not take action at this time. Very simple. Because no one is worth their while. As for these evolutionary values, they don't really care anymore. Moreover, it's impossible to give all the evolution points to them. They are very, very satisfied that they can evolve into the supreme ship. Their starship has also been detected outside this star system. There are also strong men from the Inhuman race. No one dares to come close. They are crazy to come here. No. Even the person in charge of this Shanghai just rushed over after receiving the news. No order was issued to send an alien army to help. The reason is simple. The 3 supreme ships are simply not something that those armies can deal with. If Zian and the others attacked this time, it was an orthodox ethnic group of their Inhuman race. They will not hesitate to send troops, use their lives to resist, and delay time. B. Just hyena humans. Inhumans. The hyena human race has never been truly regarded as one of our own. Just a lackey. When circumstances permit, we will naturally provide them with farmland. But now. Stop it. How could they use the lives of their Inhumans to save the lives of the hyena humans? To die is to die. It doesn't matter at all. The reason why we still have to rush over now. It was to see if Zian and the others could be kept. If possible. That couldn't be better. Cannot. It is also to prevent Zian and others. Continue to expand outwards and continue to attack the Inhumans. Then. The hyena tribe soon discovered in despair. The Inhumans they regard as their masters. Don't care about them at all, when half of their hyena clan members were slaughtered. More than an hour has passed. Periphery. Not even a single Inhuman scout ship appeared. At this point. If they don't understand what the Inhumans mean, they are idiots. Although he is an idiot himself. But. Now that they see the Inhumans directly abandoning them, they are undoubtedly angry, desperate, and frightened. The communicators of Zian and others suddenly heard the begging for mercy of these hyena humans one after another. Since the alien race is unkind, the hyena race are also unjust. Please give me flowers. So the content of begging for mercy is also very simple. Express to Zian and others that they are willing to surrender to the human race of the universe forever. Treat the human race of the universe as your own master. And, I am willing to follow Zian and the others to kill the Inhumans now, and immediately. Not only that. He also kept cursing these aliens. The language was extremely vicious. In order to survive for myself. These hyena humans. It's pretty much a no-brainer. His poor moral character was an eye-opener for Zian and others. But. A few people didn't even have any communication. Invariably. Continue to fire fiercely at these hyena humans. Not only that. Zian also specially recorded the content of these hyena humans begging for mercy. After that, with a cold smile, he contacted Jiang Yaoyao directly and sent it to her. Jiang Yaoyao was very fast. It was almost less than 3 minutes before Zian sent it. The Inhumans and every corner of the universe. At the same time, I saw this extremely explosive news in the news media and heard the recording of it. Then. All major media in the universe have reprinted it. The buggers are laughing. At the same time, I was horrified. Zian. Damn it, Zian actually appeared in the Inhuman territory again. That is to say. Damn Zian, has he really mastered some secret of the positive and negative universe? If this is the case. That's too scary. The human race of the universe was full of ridicule. Let's look at the Inhumans. Then there was anger. In their view. The hyena tribe is their servants and lackeys. Now the lackey is about to get angry and hurt his master, how can he bear it? Inhumans. That is definitely not a kind-hearted person. Or, the 3 peak ethnic groups are all groups that kill decisively and use the blood and corpses of countless ethnic groups to reach the top. In anger, Inhuman Galilee directly ordered the workers to search for traces of hyenas and humans throughout the territory. See one, kill one. Didn't you beg Zian for mercy? Are you still cursing us? Do you want to join Zian in massacring us? Okay. Never mind why you said that. Since you said so. Come on then. Even, the alien army was also specially arranged to guard the periphery of the area where Zian and the others were located to prevent people from entering to support the hyena tribe. At the same time, they also prevented Zian from coming out. Then, started a bloody hunt for all the hyena humans within the entire territory of the Inhumans. Don't let any of them go. This is. The hyena race must be completely wiped out. For a while. Hyena people. Everyone shouted to fight and kill. The losses were extremely heavy. Countless hyena humans were killed. This day, hyena people. Ushering in the crisis of genocide, when the last planet is exploded. And scanned in the most detail. After confirming that there is indeed no one alive here. Zian immediately ordered to leave. I didn't even think about continuing to attack the Inhumans. A huge space rift was opened. Everyone filed in and soon disappeared. This operation. It lasted 5 hours in total. Much longer than the previous operation. But this time is different. This time, the Inhumans were also extremely annoyed. No strong men were sent here. Of course. Because the hyena human race is against remoteness, those strong men don't have the time even if they want to rush over. In this remote location, it would take at least 4 or 5 days for the strong men on the Jinyu ship to arrive. The supreme ship above the Jinyu ship will take at least a week to arrive. No way. It's just too big. Last time, the reason why the powerful men from the Skyfire Flame Bronze clan could arrive so quickly for support. The reason is simple. The Heavenly Fire Flame Bronze tribe is in the central area of the Star Sea where they are located. The speed at which strong men come to support will naturally be faster. Come quietly. Go with a bang. Taking away the lives of all the hyena humans. The news here spread throughout the universe at the fastest speed. The human race in the universe was in a state of jubilation. The Inhumans were also very angry, but they were more sneered. Ridiculing the hyenas, the human race steals the chicken but loses the rice. As for the insects, there is nothing wrong with other groups of bugmen. But the hyenas on the other side of the bugs, but he was in constant panic all day long. After it was confirmed that Zian indeed mastered the secret of the positive and negative space barriers in the universe. The hyena people were really frightened. Because they know it very well. The cosmic human race, and Zian, they will never let them go. Even if. The last action against Zian and the betrayal of the human race in the universe. It was the decision made by the two divisions, the Inhumans and the humans, the hyena humans. It doesn't have much to do with the insect, hyena, and human race. But since it is destroyed, that would definitely mean wiping out his entire hyena tribe. Isn't it true that no one in the ancient Geo clan was innocent? But that's the mistake. They are also a race of hyena humans. Suddenly, the leader of the insect human race and the hyena human race immediately gave the order. Order the hyena tribe to immediately enter a state of full martial law. At the same time, ordered at least half of the hyena race to be dispersed to various star systems of the bug race. Avoid being dumped by the humans of the universe. What if Zian comes over and eats them all? Then their hyena race is really equivalent to being completely eliminated from this universe. This peak group. It's really too domineering. For a while, the remaining people of the hyena tribe, a person is panic-stricken, fearing that the cosmic human race or Zian will come to his door. He cursed the Inhumans and the hyenas on the other side of the universe. At this moment, in the anti-universe, the first time to return to the anti-universe, Zian began to find his position. There is no need to spend any more wealth this time. The reason is simple. With extreme tracking capabilities, you only need to pay once to locate a person. No repeated charges are required. I have already paid the fee before, and if I continue to position myself now, I will naturally not give out the wealth value again. Zian started many attempts. Then, he was suddenly pleasantly surprised. The area we randomly entered this time is not very good, but it's not bad either. Because of the position of the human race in the nearest universe. Although it's not very close, it's not too far either. At least it's not a terrifying distance that can be calculated in leaps of years, based on inference. At most half a year later, you can reach the target area. Half a year. It just passed by in a flash. Today it was confirmed that the space barrier to return to the human race in the universe is not far away. Susie was not very anxious. Moreover, if it really doesn't work, when the time comes, find the nearest space barrier and go over there. Then spend a certain amount of wealth to directly create a wormhole. Jump directly from the wormhole back to the human race. However, Zian did not want to adopt this method. First of all, this ability is really shocking. Secondly, you can definitely only locate the location of the Inhumans or insects. In this way, it is equivalent to building a natural wormhole behind the Inhumans. But once discovered by the enemy, it is still very dangerous. This is the last resort. Half a year is not long. At this moment, inside the Mu starship, Miao Xiaomi and Miao Linglan, mother and daughter, seem to have endless words and endless joy. Originally, mother and daughter thought they would be separated from each other from now on. I never thought that we would be able to meet one day. See Zian arriving. Miao Xiaomi didn't even care about her mother's presence. She stood up directly and lay in Zian's arms. Miao Xiaomi kept expressing her gratitude and emotion in her mouth. Thank you, Zian, thank you. He hugged Miao Xiaomi's small waist that was too small to hold, and said with a gentle smile, okay. Between the two of us, let alone these things. While talking, he was stroking Miao Miao's hair. The doting in his eyes was clearly visible to everyone. Beside, Miao Linglan looked at the two people who were acting affectionately and was slightly startled. But the next second, he showed a smile and didn't stop anything. Even my heart is full of joy. No matter who it is, no one would be reluctant to have a top-notch talent like Zian as their son-in-law, right? Okay, your mother is still watching. Zian couldn't help but remind him. Really? Hearing this, Miao Miao suddenly left Zian's arms as if he was electrocuted, and his pretty face turned red. Miao Xiaomi didn't dare to look at her mother, so she quickly introduced Zian. This is my mother. Mom, he is the Zian I often tell you. This last sentence was naturally directed at Miao Linglan. Miao Linglan stood up gracefully at this time, and stretched out her hand to Zian in an elegant yet steady, mature and grateful manner. Thank you. Thank you for saving me and our people. My name is Miao Linglan, and I am Xiaomi's mother. Although, Zian and Miao Xiaomi are team captains, not even classmates. But Miao Linglan will not trust Zian at all because of this relationship. Even if Zian and Miao Xiaomi became a couple, she still wouldn't dare to show off in front of Zian. In this interstellar era of the universe, the concept of respecting strength has penetrated into the depths of everyone's soul. Needless to say, Zian has strong strength, high potential, and status. Then she should not dare to treat Zian as a junior. Zian was slightly startled but immediately shook hands with the other party. It's like holding a roll of topmost satin, pliable and smooth. You're welcome. Let's not talk about my relationship with Xiaomi. Even if we don't have this relationship, we are both human beings, and I won't ignore death, Zian said with a smile. As for the name of Miao Linglan, this is normal. From Miao Xiaomi 5.1, Zian had long known that the male and female civet humans had separate surnames. The second daughter does not necessarily follow her father's surname, but divided into men and women. Female, take a look. Men are all named Cat. Because the mother and daughter of Miao Xiaomi reunited after a long absence, and experienced such a thrilling thing, They were almost separated from each other, so they must have endless things to say. Zian was not so ignorant. After saying hello, he left space for mother and daughter. After. There is a high probability that there will be no more plans. Although there are still hyenas on the insect-human side that have not been killed. But this time the Inhumans, hyenas, and humans are all wiped out, which will definitely cause the insects to step up their defenses, and even deliberately set up an ambush. So Zian would not be stupid enough to throw himself into a trap. Not surprisingly. For the rest of the time, just find the seniors nearby. Then, take them with you. Glorious return, at that time. A brilliant name. Definitely. Shine the entire universe once again. In the interstellar era of the universe, I don't know the year. Not to mention in the anti-universe. I didn't even notice the passage of time. A full year has passed. The reason why it took so long. Mainly to find all the ancestors near the space barrier. Regardless of the level of strength, or the length of confusion. As long as they are nearby ancestors. Found them all. But. Because the range is not very large. So this year, only 7 people were found. Out of 7. The weakest one is a strong deep space ship. It cannot be said that he is an ancestor, because he has been lost for a long time and is also a strong man of the same era. It has been lost here for more than 800 years in total. When finding him, he had even fainted from hunger and was on the verge of death. Fortunately, I found him at the last moment and saved him. The strongest one. He was just a void ship captain. Longitudinal starships and townships are not cabbages. It's really easy to find it. Of course. If you are willing to expand the search area to a larger area. In fact, it is possible to find more ancestors. Only, the search for ancestors is only carried out without affecting the breakthrough of one's own strength. Zian, and other girls. Now. 11 is already the captain of a Tier 10 deep space ship. Even bioenergy is at full value. Breaking through to the Star Destroyer is only one step away. But. Because this breakthrough of the Star Destroyer is a very significant breakthrough. Thus, the preparations here are actually not that complete. The main thing is to improve the quality to golden legendary quality. Then some of the very precious treasures of heaven, materials and earth are urgently needed. There is none of this in the anti-universe. Because Zian has already tried the treasure tracking ability, the result shown is that there are very, very many in the positive universe, but they do not grow in the anti-universe. The search for ancestors will definitely continue in the future. But at least for now. Zian needs to return to the universe first and break through to the Star Destroyer in strength. Secondly, that's when I come in next time. That's more than just finding someone. But he must bring a large army. Prepare to use this method to start a war with the Inhumans and humans. Even. It is precisely because of the terror of this ability. Therefore, Su Liaoan has thought about it more than once. Maybe. You can take advantage of this ability. Completely win the great victory of the human war. Completely defeat the Inhumans and buggers. It's not impossible. Because I don't care about the Inhumans or the insects. They can handle this method 10 times, 100 times, even 1,000 times, or 10,000 times. But hundreds of thousands, millions of times this mysterious attack method. Absolutely can't resist it. Absolutely impossible. Shaoan, how long will it take for our Tianfa? Lumu didn't know how many times he had asked. Zian, who was eating hot pot with the girls of the brilliant fleet, Mu Ziqiu, Lu Yuyu, Qi Jingyi, Miao Linglan and others, looked very helpless. I said, Mr. Liu. You have already asked me this question for the 700th time. You just asked 3 minutes ago, and 3 minutes ago, I told you that there are still 67 minutes. Then now, there are 64 minutes. Zian was helpless. But in my heart, I understood Mr. Lu very well. Because it's not just Lu Mu. These ancestors at the scene. One counts as one. After learning from Su Zian's mouth, it was confirmed that he had returned to the positive universe today and was still a human race. Each one of them was more excited than the other, and each one was more excited than the other. Especially Lu Mu and the others. Them. But he was trapped for millions of years. Trapped in this dark, lonely place for millions of years. What a torture that was. For example, Yizan Yi Lao is an obvious example. Before going crazy, I kept hypnotizing myself every day. Listen to Su Zian's words. Mr. Lu had a resentful expression, but he did not leave. Still staying in the restaurant, waiting for the time to come. Original. Su Zian looks like he is leaving anti-universe today. He successfully led everyone to complete 2 assaults on the Inhumans and the hyenas. He also found so many ancestors and rescued all Miao Xiaomi's relatives. Before leaving today, let's have a celebration party. Who knows, except Su Zian and the girls. The rest of the people had no intention of eating at all. Li Shitao and the others who followed Su Zian in were fine. But Mr. Lu and the others had no desire to eat at all. I ate all the food absent-mindedly. Su Zian shook his head and ignored them. They don't eat. Su Zian wants to eat. Put a few slices of yellow mutton from the earth into the pot and rinse it after a few seconds. He added a slice to Qin Fuyue, Hai Tang, and Miao Xiaomi's bowls, respectively. The last piece was just put into my bowl. Don't ask why. Asked by Miao Xiaomi one night a year ago. Su Zian was forcibly knocked down. Mei Qiming was grateful to Su Zian for rescuing her relatives. Of course there are reasons for this. However, Qin Fuyue, Hu Qiqi, and other women knew it clearly. Miao Xiaomi was just looking for an excuse for herself. Of course, no one knows whether Su Zian knows it himself. But the other girls, including Miao Xiaomi's mother, Miao Linglan, everyone knows her daughter's little thoughts clearly. My daughter and Su Zian are getting married. And Su Zian himself has 2 women, Qin Fuyue and Hai Tang. But Miao Linglan didn't have any dissatisfaction. Again, the interstellar era of the universe is the ultimate era where the strong are respected. What's more, Miao Linglan can see it. There is indeed true love between Su Zian and his daughter. Since my daughter is willing and happy, as a mother, she would naturally not have any objections. Looking at Su Zian, he gave the meat slices to Qin Fuyue, Hai Tang, and Miao Xiaomi. Hu Qiqi's little mouth couldn't help but pout. Pink. Looks so cute. She expressed her displeasure. He looked at Su Zian pitifully. The meaning is already obvious. Bai Xiaoyuan was even more like this. Like a little doormat, she secretly glanced at Suan. But dare not say anything. Chu Tiangu. She has a similar personality to Bai Xiaoyuan. They all have that kind of soft and weak character. Lu Yuyu, on the other hand, was very straightforward and started directly. She used chopsticks to put the piece of meat in Su Zian's bowl into her own bowl and ate it happily. Qi Jingyi glanced at Lu Yuyu speechlessly and shook her head. Mu Ziqiu is still the same. 547 smiled tenderly at Su Zian, her big beautiful and gentle eyes were as smooth as silk, looked at her bowl, and then at Su Zian. He gave Su Zian a you-know look. Su Zian rolled his eyes. Eating hot pot is so unsettling. Say nothing. He directly picked up the mutton plate on the table and poured it all into the pot. A few seconds later. Take it out directly and leave no one in the bowl of the girls. They all put in a chopstick. Forget about a few pieces of meat. Even Qi Jingyi and Miao Linglan's bowls, and even Taimei and Taj Aaron's bowls are here. Taimei Taiji suddenly shrank her neck, was so frightened that she didn't dare to utter a sound, lowered her head and ate wildly. He didn't dare to look at Qin Fuyue and other women at all. Chi-Jingyi was startled, then shook her head in amusement, and happily ate the meat slices served by her junior brother. But he was also startled. Seeing Zian open her mouth, she couldn't help but breathed a sigh of relief when she saw that Zian just gave her slices of meat and had no other intention. Her daughter didn't care about it at all. That moment just now. In fact, she was quite frightened. 55 Okay. I really can't think of it. Zian's operation, in addition to getting a pair of beautiful white eyes from the girls. There was no trouble, and we passed this level safely. Wait until you finish eating. Time. That's about right. Beside, Mr. Liu and others have been scratching their heads for a long time. Seeing Zian wave his hand, the witnesses and others were immediately overjoyed. One by one, they flew towards their starships as fast as possible. It only lasted 10 minutes. Everything is ready. At any time, prepare to leave the anti-universe. Oh, if you're enjoying my content, please consider donating a coffee. Or checking out my shirts on TeePublic, because before entering the anti-universe, the Universal Human Federation is for Zian. Personnel have been arranged in various areas within the Universal Human Federation to provide different space barrier positions for Zian to return. Zian went through many attempts. Locked the position of one of them. This person is not from Jiuxiao Xinghai, but from Nantian Xinghai. The Sea of Stars in the southern sky. It is the 77th star sea among the 108 star seas in the Universal Human Federation. This ranking. It's about overall strength. For example, the number of powerful people in the star sea, the strength of the federal army, the degree of prosperity, etc. It can be considered a ranking that is neither high nor low. The South Sky Star Sea is far away from the Jiuxiao Star Sea. If the territory of the Universal Human Federation is compared to a circle, then one is in the south and one is in the north. The distance is very far. Even through the wormhole Stargate. It also takes a very long time. Therefore, this time, Zian has no plans to return to Jiuxiao Xinghai. The plan is to complete the evolution of the brilliant fleet to the Star Destroyer in the Southern Star Sea. After evolution. What happens after that? Talk to you later. Now. Zian didn't want to think too much. Plan. Never keep up with the changes. The Sea of Stars in the southern sky. In a certain star field. This star field. It was originally a no-man's sky, and basically no one would appear here. But a year or two ago, a large number of federal troops suddenly came to garrison here, turning it into a military-restricted area. No one can get close. No one knows what is going on here. Many people will be curious at first. But as time goes by, no one will pay attention to it. It even includes the Federal Army stationed here, as well as a positioned Starship General of the Federal Army, including him, except for the initial curiosity and expectation. Nowadays, apart from practicing every day, I just eat and drink. That's boring. But just for today. At this moment, he was drinking wine and eating meat. Suddenly his body trembled and he suddenly stopped. Then he immediately looked outside the starship with a solemn expression. The moment he looked over, suddenly, there was no abnormality in the space, but it seemed as if a bolt of lightning appeared out of thin air, and it seemed as if someone had torn a hole out of thin air. A huge space crack suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. His expression was blank. The next second, he suddenly realized something. He hurriedly raised his voice, pressed the communicator, and hissed, "Emergency combat preparation. Emergency combat preparation. Be careful of everything around you and prevent anyone from getting close. Attention. Prevent anyone from approaching." Then, he went into battle himself. Turn on the power of the starship to the maximum and scan the surrounding area. Make sure there aren't any enemies around. The federal troops stationed there also hurriedly began emergency patrols to prevent enemies nearby. Hashtag. Everything is safe. After passing through the space rift, I saw the fleet at the other end and the terrifying starships in the fleet. Even if it is the general who controls the starship. He couldn't help, but his heart beat violently and his breathing stagnated. The supreme ship? And, moreover, there are still 3 supreme ships? 5 town ships. He couldn't help but swallow. He confirmed. It's the team led by Su Tianjiao, the pride of the human race. No. It should be said that he risked his life to bring back the powerful ancestors who had been lost for countless years from the counter-universe. It is precisely because of him. Now, it is equivalent to the sudden increase of 3 super-powerful people at the supreme ship level. Just thinking of this made his blood boil. He served as a general in the Union Army. Clearer than normal. What does the appearance of the 3 supreme ship superpowers mean? What kind of promotion will it give to the human race in the future? Let's put it that way. The most powerful warrior on the S-class battlefield. It's just the captain of the supreme ship. A supreme ship. It can even destroy a star sea. This is no joke. Just those star systems. One shot at a time. The hyena human race was eliminated last time. If it weren't for leaving the evolutionary value to Zian and the others. Mr. Liu and the others can completely wipe out the hyena race by firing a cannonball. This is the dominance and power of the supreme ship. And Zian. Su Tianjiao. But at one time, he brought back 3 ships. One of them. It even reaches 700,000 meters. The maximum length of the supreme ship is 800,000 meters. And the supreme ship reaches 700,000 meters. Definitely the best among supreme ships. Excited. Then, he reported the matter immediately. Less than 10 seconds later. Even Zian has not completely come out of the space crack. Only the bow of the Brilliance popped up. Then Zian's communicator immediately received a call request with the highest emergency authority of the Universal Human Federation. The highest emergency call authority in the Universal Human Federation. Regardless of whether your communicator is set to reject all calls from strangers, they can still call you. When he saw the special communication number, Zian naturally understood what it meant. He couldn't help but smile immediately and connected the communication. The communication has just been connected. From the other end, there came a voice full of majesty that seemed to come from the sky. Shaoan, congratulations on your safe return home. The other party's voice sounded quite pleased. Zian quickly and respectfully shouted, Master. The other party smiled gently and said, What's the situation over there now? Are there any casualties? Are you in danger yourself? As soon as the other party opened his mouth, he asked with great concern. Zian felt warm in his heart and replied with a smile, Master, I'm fine, I'm very fine. Including everyone else, everyone is doing great too. This operation was very successful and no one was harmed. In addition, we also successfully recovered 18 seniors who were lost in the anti-universe. After hearing what Zian said, the master was obviously shocked and immediately asked, 18? But who is there? Don't blame him for that. The fact that Zian can safely travel back and forth between the positive and negative universes is already shocking and shocking. They also thought that Zian would probably bring back 1 or 2 people this time. But he directly brought back 18 people. This was something they never expected. As for the exposure of the previous 2 operations? Let's put it that way. In fact, the video data shot by the Inhumans are not complete at all. Because in that situation, no one would have the heart to film the situation of the Brilliant Brigade. Why not film without thinking of escaping? Therefore, even if there are 1 or 2 videos leaked, the filming is not comprehensive at all. The specific situation is actually unclear. Zian immediately replied after hearing this, There is Mr. Liu, there is. Who knows? This statement just came out. The rest of the words are not finished yet. Master's tone was obviously full of joy. Shamu? Shamu is still alive? And you found him? The master's voice was very pleasant, and he took the initiative to explain. Shamu. He is the disciple of a close friend of mine. Besieged and lost in the anti-universe 3 million years ago. I originally thought he had died, but I never thought he was still alive. You even found me. Shawan. This time I really want to thank you. Not only do I want to thank you. We, the human race in this universe, all want to thank you. You have really made trouble for the human race of our universe. Okay, I won't interrupt you anymore, you can continue. Looking forward to more surprises from you. Master finished speaking, then it became quiet. And Zian. There is no delay. Continue to tell, as Zian spoke out the names of the recovered human ancestors. It can be clearly felt. On the other end of the communicator, Master felt increasingly happy and satisfied. Wait for Zian to finish speaking. The Master said good several times, which showed his inner satisfaction. Okay. This time, you have really made a great contribution to our human race. Zian chuckled, this is what I should do. The Master smiled and did not ask any more questions on this issue, but asked, what are your plans next? Zian answered truthfully, at present, I will not go to anti-universe for the time being. I will definitely continue going in the future, but not until my fleet and I have all broken through to the Star Destroyer. Besides, if we go later, at that time a larger team will be organized. Because this time I have found a better way to fight against the Inhumans and insects. I believe this method. Master, you should already know it. So for now, we will break through to the Star Destroyer first. This is indeed Zian's idea. In fact, he himself doesn't know how the future should develop. Is he hanging out in border battlefields all year round, working in the Universal Human Federation, or joining a certain force? Zian has also been making decisions. The Master smiled slightly at this time and said, I have an idea here, do you want to hear it? Zian immediately listened attentively. Master, please tell me. The Master then smiled and said, I would like to invite you to join the Universe Technology Group. Haha, I happen to be the helmsman of the Universe Technology Group now, including your Master, who is also from the Universe Technology 680 Technology Group. How? Do you have this idea? Of course, if you don't want to, it doesn't matter. And after joining, you can come and go freely without any restrictions. Zian was also startled. He knew that the Master's status must be very high. He is a high-ranking member of the human race. But I definitely didn't expect it. The Master is actually a member of the Pinnacle Group. I thought that the Master should be a certain elder, but I never thought that he was actually a member of the Peak Group. He is also the helmsman of the Universe Technology Group. That is to say, Master. Is it the captain of the Annihilation ship? Zian trembled all over. Annihilation ship. That was something he couldn't even imagine. What is annihilation? Annihilation that annihilates everything. At the same time, I didn't expect it. Master Xia Donglu. It turns out that he also belongs to the Universe Technology Group. Since the Master said so. Of course Zian would not hesitate any longer and said without hesitation, no problem. I am willing to join the Universe Technology Group. Universe Technology Group. It is definitely a behemoth of the Cosmic Human Federation, or even the entire universe. A behemoth in the true sense of the word. The virtual metaverse is the product of the Universe Technology Group. There are also the most popular future stars. It also involves a variety of industries, weapons production, mineral resources, various technologies, and so on. They are among the best in the industry. The virtual metaverse is its core industry and an absolute monopoly. Just like the Universe Energy Group, where senior brother Zhang Yuanhai works. It accounts for 95% of the energy production and sales of the Universal Human Federation. But this does not mean that its group is limited to energy, as it is also involved in all walks of life. Just because energy is its core industry, that's all. And joining a superpower like the Seven Overlords, especially when the person at the helm is his own ancestor. Zian had no reason to refuse. Tar. Master has made it clear. If you want to quit, you can quit at any time. Anyway. No harm at all. There are only advantages and no disadvantages. If this is refused, your brain is stupid. Seeing Zian responded so simply, Master was full of joy. Very good. In this case, I will ask someone to contact you later. You've just come back, so take a good rest. Besides, you cannot hide the fact that you are coming back victoriously, and there is no need to hide it. I'll be busy after that. I won't say any more to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at any time. Master's last words. It is equivalent to treating Zian as one of our own. Not to mention, Zian is still his disciple. Now he has joined the Universe Technology Group. In fact, it is impossible to say that the Master has made plans to train Zian with all his strength. Wait for some day in the future. When he abdicates, Zian will become the new helmsman of Universe Technology Group. It means, starting from this moment. Then he trained Zian as his true heir. As for Master Xiaodonglu, although he is his direct disciple, but Xiaodonglu did have extremely outstanding talent as an evolutionist. But let me tell you something about starships. There is something lacking. The strongest human race. It still depends on actual strength, BBDG. Because there is only strength. Only then can everything be suppressed. Ended the call with Master. Zian put these things aside for the time being. And just like the Master said, this matter cannot be hidden. In other words, the top management did not need to hide it, but instead fueled the situation behind the scenes. No. It's been less than 10 minutes since I ended the call with Master. Suddenly, countless powerful people and media swarmed this way. And these media reporters have not arrived yet. The report has already come out. Obviously, it was a sign from someone above. Hype. The brilliant genius Zian returned safely and triumphantly. Horror. Not only did Zian return, but he also brought back 18 superpowers from our human race, including 3 supreme ships, 5 space-killing ships. Human hero Su Tianjiao. Brilliant Tianjiao Zian. My human race has a son, who can be regarded as a star Navy regiment. Exploded. The media exploded. The human citizens of the universe also exploded. Inhumans, insects. It even exploded to the point where it took off in a spiral. Zian. It turns out. Really safe return. Not only did he return, he actually brought back 18 human ancestors who were lost in the counter-universe. There are actually 3 special supreme ship captains. What is this concept? Don't say anything else. The human race in the universe is the star C that ranks at the bottom. There are only 3 supreme ship experts. That is to say, Zian brought back a combat power equivalent to the peak of Shanghai. The media said that he alone can serve as a Star Marine regiment, which is definitely not an exaggeration. Hashtag. More than anything. For a while, the human race exploded. The Inhumans were silent. The insectoids were silent. But their silence, it also illustrates the problem exactly. This is exactly the case. When this matter was exposed and confirmed by the media, even Lu Mu, the third elder, after being interviewed, the first time things are confirmed, Inhumans and insectoids, it seemed like it had been discussed. Invariably, eliminate Zian from the top 10 on the must-kill list. List your place directly. The original number 1. The number 1 on the list of must-kills for the insects is the number 1 on the genius list, the contemporary great devil, and the super genius of the Inhumans. But he unexpectedly put Zian in the first place, knocking out all the contemporary great devils who were number 1 on the prodigy list. The number 1 on the alien race's must-kill list was originally the second on the genius list, the peerless genius of the human race, and the contemporary demon king. Same. Replaced by Zian. Everyone ranked Zian first on the must-kill list. It can be seen from this. To what extent do they fear Zian? It's really not their fault. Perhaps. Now Zian's strength and talent are not considered to be the best in the universe. He couldn't even make it into the top 3 on the list of geniuses. The talent may not be bad, but the strength is still a little bit behind after all. But the secret, or ability, of traveling between the positive and negative universes that Zian masters. But it's too outrageous and too buggy. If Zian is allowed to continue to grow and search like this, the situation in which the 3 clans stand in harmony will definitely be broken. By the time, what will be the consequences? Unimaginable. So, Zian must die. Su Tianjiao, if you have any questions from now on, please speak directly to me. As long as I can do it, I will go through fire and water, no matter what. Inside the bright number. Zian smiled again and said it should be. But it was hard to refuse the other party's kindness, so he had no choice but to agree. Hang up communication. Zian took a long breath. This is already the 56th call he has received. These 56 calls all come from some powerful figures in the Universal Human Federation. They sounded grateful that Zian had brought Mr. Liu, Mr. Chen and others home. These people. Or he was a close friend of 18 people including Mr. Liu, Mr. Chen, Mr. Wang, etc. back then. Or an elder. Or a junior. Either he was his subordinate or apprentice back then. And these 56 calls. The weakest. They are all captains of vertical starships. Although he is only the captain of a vertical starship. But the other party is the father of a certain Star Sea Lord. And this person is a brother and sister to a void ship captain that Zian rescued, that is to say, a female void ship captain rescued by Zian. She is the aunt of one of the Star Sea Lords in the Universal Human Federation. The Lord of the Star Sea couldn't get through on the phone, so he sent a communication message directly to Zian to express his sincere gratitude. Saved these 18 people. But Zian's connections in the Universal Human Federation have undergone qualitative changes. Not to mention the gratitude of these 18 people themselves. Zian answered one communication call after another. Mr. Liu and the others also continued to answer communications. It wasn't until 3 hours later that the communication gradually subsided. Mr. Liu and others came directly towards Zian. His eyes were full of smiles. Shaoan, we are ready to leave here. Lu Muwen smiled softly, his voice full of sighs. I have been lost in the counter-universe for 3 million years, and now I desperately want to meet my relatives and friends. I can't wait any longer. Shaoan, if you have anything to do in the future, please contact us at any time. I dare not say anything else. Universal Human Federation, whoever dares to bully you should first ask us old guys if we agree. After a pause at this point, Lumu couldn't help but smile and said, of course. With your current status and importance in the human race of our universe. Even those in the peak group, no one bullies you. It's too late to protect you. Listen to Lumu's words. Zian laughed, Mr. Liu, no one will bully me. I know how you feel now, and we will see each other for a long time in the future. I'm also going to find a place to evolve the starship. See you next time. Lumu and others took a deep look at Zian, but said nothing. They just nodded at Zian and turned to leave. This kind of life-saving grace makes all words pale. Everything. Just wait for the future. Everyone left one after another. Zian is preparing to find a place to evolve the starship. The communication rang again. It's still a strange communication number. Zian didn't think much about it, thinking it was some ancestor's relative or friend. Connected. From the opposite side, a woman's capable voice came. Hello, Zian. I am a staff member of the Universe Technology Group, Mingxiang. Now I will go through the joining procedures for you. I wonder if it's convenient for you now. Hear the words. Zian said, convenience is convenience. But I'm here in the South Sea of Stars now. The other party smiled and said, it's okay. I happen to be the person in charge of the branch of Universe Technology Group in Nantian, Shanghai. Besides, I know where you are. Do you think I should go to you, or should you come to me to handle it? Looked around, Zian said, I'll go find you. Send me a location. It is naturally not better to join the Universe Technology Group for the first time than to work in a company. What's more, it happens to be about evolving a starship. The other party is also quite straightforward. A location was quickly sent over. After taking a look, the distance was not very far. At the current speed of the brilliant fleet, it can be reached in one day at most. No more delays. In the eyes of the Federal Army and the media with admiration, Zian led everyone to the destination. Li Shitao and the others didn't leave. Because their mission is to protect Zian's absolute safety throughout the entire process. Although now I have returned to the territory of the Universal Human Federation. But with Zian's current talent and threat, the Inhumans and insects, 100% there will be action. We will definitely kill Zian completely at all costs. This point, there is no doubt about it. Until Zian went to the destination, then there were no new orders from the higher-ups of the Universal Human Federation. They will leave. Now, Zian must be delivered safely. Actually, the reason why the Universal Human Federation has not taken any action so far after they came back. The reason is simple. The distance is too far. Wait for the staff of the Universal Human Federation to arrive later. A welcome ceremony will be held one by one, the city residents will discuss their merits and reward them. But Zian didn't like these things, so he would definitely refuse them later. The Sea of Stars in the southern sky. Compared with Jiuxiao Shanghai, the prosperity may not be bad, but the public security may be a little worse. From time to time, I can receive calls for help. In such cases, asking for flowers. Zian and the others didn't even need to go there in person. Li Shitao and the others had already sent people to deal with it. A day's journey finally arrived at the branch of the Universal Human Federation in the southern Sea of Stars. Red Sun Star System. A huge red supergiant star provides the light source here. Here, it is extremely prosperous. It is also one of the core star systems in the southern Sea of Stars. The area is very large and guarded by a large number of strong men. And the Sea of Stars in the southern sky. It is also a star force under the control of the Universe Technology Group. We have just arrived at the door of the star system. You can see a large number of starships waiting at the door. The talent has just arrived. The capable voice sounded in the communicator, hello, and I'm Mingxiang. Welcome to our branch. Now, please follow me. I'll handle the joining procedures for you. In the cab of the leading Jinyu ship, a middle-aged woman waved to Zian. Everyone immediately followed. At the same time, Zian was also introduced to other starships. Not surprisingly, these starships are all employees of the branch of the Universe Technology Group here. And they. In fact, he is also one of the controllers of the Universe Technology Group in the southern Sea of Stars. A huge sea of stars. Naturally, there cannot be only one speaker. Although the Lord of the Southern Star Sea is also affiliated with the Universe Technology Group, However, he is mainly responsible for the Federal Army, or the overall defense of the Southern Star Sea. Government Affairs. The branch of the Universe Technology Group will be in charge. Because not many people know about Zian's itinerary. It didn't attract any onlookers or anything like that. Zian also enjoyed his leisure time. In the reception room, Mingxiang said with a smile on her face, "This time you join." A total of 2 plans were given above. 1. After joining, you will not be assigned any position. You have free agency and can do whatever you want. But the rewards and training for you will be relatively less. As for the second option. When she said this, Mingxiang's eyes clearly flashed with incredible meaning. Obviously. Even she, the narrator, was shocked inside. Taking a deep breath, Mingxiang said with undisguised envy on her face, "The second plan. I want you to be the Lord of the Southern Star Sea. In charge of all federal military forces in the entire Southern Star Sea. Has the highest authority in the Southern Sky Star Sea, including me. I will also be your subordinate." Speaking of the back. Mingxiang's voice seemed to be trembling. It can be seen that Daphne is shocked in his heart. Even before coming, I was mentally prepared. But now when he heard Mingxiang's words, Zian was shocked inside. Isn't this a bit of a joke on the universe? Lord of the Star Sea? Lord of the Star Sea, what a presence that is. To be honest, the Lord of the Star Sea is one of the 108 members. The kind that truly participates in the major events of the Cosmic and Human Federation. Zian never expected it. Master. How could he spend such a huge amount of money on himself? After thinking for a moment, Zian asked in a deep voice, "What conditions should be there?" Mingxiang smiled slightly and said, "That's true. Whether it is the Southern Star Sea or the Star Sea under other Universe Technology Group, you need to reach at least the township level before you can take over. It is undeniable that your reputation, your potential, your status, and your importance are undeniable. They are among the best in the Human Federation in our universe. However, the Lord of the Star Sea still needs sufficient strength to convince the public. Of course, the reason why you need to reach at least the township level to serve as 577 is because you are guaranteed to have the supreme ship-level combat capability. If the combat effectiveness is not reached, there is still no way to take over. Similarly, as long as your true strength reaches the supreme ship level, even if you are at the vertical starship or void ship level, you can still take over." Zian shook his head and smiled. At the same time, I felt relieved. I thought that the master directly asked me to be the Lord of this Star Sea. If that's the case, Zian is really not sure if he dares to take over. The Lord of the Star Sea does not mean that you can take it if you are asked to take it. The Lord of the Star Sea is the most powerful person in the Star Sea and the helmsman of the Star Sea. He is in charge of the life and death of an entire Star Sea, and the life and death of countless people in an entire Star Sea. It's not something that anyone can take on if they want to. Seemingly thinking of something, and you couldn't help but asked doubtfully, "In that case, then what does the second option mean? You don't think I can defeat the Supreme Ship now, do you? Do not make jokes. You can kill me with just one breath." Mingxiang suddenly laughed, shook her head and said, "Of course not. Actually, this is the second option. In a true sense, we will train you as one of our own in the Universe Technology Group. At the same time, I will do my best to train you as the future Lord of the Star Sea. So, while you have a lot of resources, you can open yourself up. It will also start from the basics. For example, serve as the Lord of the Nebula, or even the Lord of the Star Cluster. First manage a nebula area well, then learn and grow slowly. When you have grown up enough, you can directly take over a Star Sea and serve as its master, also, even the second option. There won't be too many restrictions on your personal freedom. The only restriction is that after you join the Universe Technology Group, you will be a member of the Universe Technology Group from now on and are not allowed to leave. But you can still hold other positions, do other things, and even create your own company, group, family, or even an empire. For example, if you are now the master of a nebula, you can create a country like the Earth Federation. None of these have any impact. After listening to Mingxiang's explanation, Su Zian suddenly realized. Understood. Simply put, the first option. It is equivalent to a way of cooperation. Stay or go as you like. It's equivalent to a form of guest service. It is said that they will be trained in the same way. But this training intensity, don't think about it, it won't be too big. Then leave a meaning like incense. Second option. It is the kind that is completely equivalent to one's own people. We will do our best to cultivate. Especially the ones with great potential, such as Su Zihua. Start. They are all trained according to the standards of the Lord of the Star Sea. You can imagine how intensive this kind of training is. How high are the expectations for Su Zian? Even the Lord of the Star Sea is really just Su Zian's beginning. Perhaps, in the end, Su Zian was trained to be the new helmsman of the Universe Technology Group. Tada. One of the future top group members. Truly the most noble identity. Under this option, where would Su Zian still hesitate? Any fool knows how to choose. If it were someone else, like an ordinary genius or something like that, they may hesitate. Because there is not much difference between the first option and the second option for them. For more ordinary people, join the Universe Technology Group. Perhaps, the qualifications are a little more ordinary, and there is not even a second option. There is only the first option, and after joining, you have to work honestly in the Universe Technology Group. Not to mention what you will be trained to be. Only Su Zian is like this. That is what the Universe Technology Group really values. I choose the second one. Su Zian answered immediately without even thinking about it. Although the second one is completely tied to the Universe Technology Group. The kind where everyone is prosperous and loses. But for Su Zian, it is actually enough freedom. It does not affect his cooperation with Huawei Group, nor does it affect the continued growth of the Dark Matter Intelligence Organization he founded. Even if, in the future, the Dark Matter Intelligence Organization grows into one of the new overlord forces of the Human Federation in the universe, it will also have no impact. By then, Su Zian may be the helmsman of the two overlord-level forces. How awesome! Mingxiang was not surprised by Su Zian's choice. I believe that no one will refuse the conditions of the Universe Technology Group, although the specific cultivation method is not yet known. B. That's the Universe Technology Group. Although there is no clear division, in the eyes of almost everyone, they are recognized as the actual first-day force of the Human Federation in the universe. The full cultivation of such a behemoth. Could the effect be any worse? Impossible. Absolutely impossible, not to mention that the person at the helm now is Su Zian's master. The kind that comes from the same origin. Okay, now, let's go through some formalities first. Mingxiang said with a smile. It can be clearly felt. After Su Zian confirmed the second option, Mingxiang's tone seemed to be a little more enthusiastic. After all, you will be your own person in the future. What's more, Su Zian has huge potential. Even if we don't talk about the future, just talk about the importance of Su Zian's status now. In fact, it was enough for Mingxiang to take it seriously. Subsequent joining procedures. Easier. The whole process was witnessed by the intelligent optical brain of the Universe Technology Group. As long as Su Zian confirms that there is no problem and confirms joining, all information about Su Zian will be included in the database of Universe Technology Group. Corresponding benefits, permissions, etc. will also be opened simultaneously. No. Su Zian just joined. Mingxiang solemnly handed over a super alloy password box and said, "Inside this is a 0.2 optical brain watch specially developed and customized by our Universe Technology Group for our internal staff. And your optical brain watch is still the highest level. Has a range of high levels of authority. At the same time, everything in our company, etc., will be carried out on it. You can see everything next through the optical brain watch. The follow-up matters are not my responsibility. Zian took it. From Mingxiang's expression, it can be seen that this optical brain watch must be a super high-end product. Open it and take a look. The sci-fi-like appearance alone is enough to show that this thing must be worth a lot of money. Just put it on. When he turned on the computer watch, a beam of light appeared and scanned Zian. Scan passed, identity confirmed, bound. Z. Most of the content on the optical brain watch is open to Zian. At the same time, it also includes the follow-up events after Zian joined the Universe Technology Group. Everything. You can all see it above. ARA. This option to serve as Lord of the Nebula, in the Cultivative Service option on the optical brain watch. There are two options, Lord of Nebula, and Head of Star Cluster Branch. In addition to this option, there is another one available to apply for. Inside, you can choose to apply to become the Lord of the Star Cluster, but it is gray and needs to be assessed after application. The person in charge of the Xingtuan branch is similar to the second in command. That is to say, now Zian can become the leader of a nebula or the second leader of a star cluster. As for applying to become the Lord of the Star Cluster, in fact, it is slightly insufficient. The Lord of Nebula needs to reach the level of captain of the immortal ship. This point is true even now, when Zian faces the worst batch of immortal ship captains. And when he breaks through to the Star Destroyer soon. There is no difficulty at all. But the Lord of the Star Cluster has some difficulties. The Lord of the Star Cluster needs to reach the strength of a void ship captain in order to conquer the crowd and guard a star cluster. Above the Lord of the Star Cluster, he is the Lord of the Star Territory. Need to reach the level of captain of a vertical starship. Above the Lord of the Star Territory is the life of the galaxy. Need to reach the level of Jinyu ship captain. Above the Lord of the Galaxy, he is the Lord of the Star Sea and needs to reach the level of Supreme Ship Captain. As far as I can tell, Zian has no problem serving as the Lord of Nebula. 11. The Lord of the Star Cluster is still not enough. Naturally, I won't waste time applying for this thing. Click to enter the Become the Lord of the Nebula option. Then, countless Nebula Lord options among the 16 star seas under the Universe Technology Group popped up. Yes. Is all. Normally, being the Lord of Nebula requires competition, or you have to wait for the original Lord of Nebula to be promoted or abdicate, or in short, you have to wait for the position to become vacant. But Zian is different. Zian has the highest training authority of the Universe Technology Group. The meaning of this permission is very simple. Which nebula Zian likes, just pick it. Which nebula is selected, it will be no problem if the current nebula does not have the Nebula Master. If you have the Lord of Nebula, please abdicate directly to me and let Zian come. Zian looked around and stopped. He couldn't help but shook his head. Basically, those good places and prosperous places have the Lord of Nebula. You can indeed come if you choose. But it must have offended people invisibly. There's no need for that at all. With his current status, these Nebula Lords will actually be offended if they offend them, and it will not affect anything. However, to offend people for no reason, to be honest, Zian thinks it is really stupid behavior. Not to mention, the difference between prosperous and not prosperous lies only in the amount of tax revenue one receives. And the difference is not very big. Because Zian has the highest training authority, has the highest tax share ratio. Ordinary Nebula Lord. The Nebula tax under its jurisdiction is to obtain 3% of it. Then 47% will be used to maintain the daily expenses, maintenance, defense, etc. of the entire nebula. For example, the salary payment of the Nebula Federation Army, the maintenance of various equipment such as the Stellar Stability Control System, and various defense facilities of the nebula. The remaining 50% of the tax revenue will be handed over to the Universe Technology Group. But Zian, just for starting, you will have 20% tax share. Then, 50% of the taxes are used for the daily maintenance of Nebula. The remaining 30%. It's the ones that need to be handed over to the Universe Technology Group. Besides, Universe Technology Group will also provide Zian with a batch of resources from time to time to help him grow. If you calculate it like this, it can even be said that Zian monopolizes the tax revenue of the entire Nebula. In addition, the most important point is, choosing a less prosperous nebula actually has greater development potential. It is also more convenient for Zian to do his own things. These thoughts just flashed through my mind. Zian made a decision immediately. He chose a place called Imei Nebula in Tianruwei Xinghai as his territory. Tianruwei Xinghai. It is the last star sea among the 16 star seas controlled by the Universe Technology Group. Among the 108 star seas in the entire universe and the Human Federation, it is also ranked 106th. Regardless of the overall federal military strength, defense strength, economic prosperity, etc. of the star sea, they are all at the lowest level. The reason why is so. That's because, first of all, Tianruwei Xinghai has multiple battlefields of different levels. It is located in a remote place and was prone to war. It has been developed for a short time and belongs to a very young star sea. Moreover, there are many ethnic groups in it, the forces are complex, interstellar pirates and human traders emerge in an endless stream, and the public security is extremely poor. Such poor public security will naturally make many forces and people unwilling to move here. Under such a vicious cycle, Tianruwei Xinghai has never been able to develop. The Imei Nebula can be said to be the worst place among them. Imei Nebula alone has 8 battlefields of different levels. There are many powerful interstellar pirates around, and because there are too many battlefields, human traders are quite active here. More often, strong men from the Inhumans and insects sneak in. This is not. 3 years ago, a strong person from the insect race sneaked in. At that time, the master of Imei Nebula fought hard, but was eventually killed. For 3 years, no one has stepped forward to take over this position. The Lord of Imei Nebula is always blank. Zian chose here. The reason is simple. Chaos. Danger. Poor law and order. There are many battlefields. What do these represent? Don't these represent living evolutionary values? It represents a massive amount of evolutionary value. Under his extreme tracking ability, those interstellar pirates and human traders have no way of hiding. Security is not an issue at all. Moreover, the terrain of Imei Nebula is complicated, but it also gives Zian the opportunity to hide his secrets. Produce unlimited quantities of natural materials and treasures, and then sell them. Earn massive amounts of wealth and money. Anyway, there are so many benefits here. The only thing you need to worry about is 17. The Inhumans and insects may send super strong men to kill them at all costs, but with all the means they have, it is impossible for them to kill themselves. Including the safety of the girls, there is actually no need for 033 to worry too much. Scanned around again. In the end, it is still this Tianruwei Xinghai. But there's nothing more to say about that. Just choose this place as your job territory. Just after selecting the smart optical brain of the optical brain watch, a prompt popped up, asking Zian to think carefully. This is the place he does not recommend the most. But the decision made by Zian cannot be changed so easily. Go ahead and click OK. Soon. In the internal system of the Universe Technology Group, Zian's information has been changed. Name, Zian, talent, unparalleled genius, potential, SSS, identity, Lord of Imei Nebula, contribution, 0, training level, SSS. These are Zian's basic identity information in the Universe Technology Group. The potential and training level of the SSS level are so dazzling. It is also the highest level in the Universe Technology Group. Let's put it that way. Now the entire universe technology group has SSS level potential and training level. Apart from Zian, only one person should do it. That person is not someone else. He is the peerless genius who was originally second on the contemporary genius list and is now third. This cultivates levels and potential. Only later can you truly appreciate its immense benefits. Now, Zian hasn't experienced it very well yet. Territory location selected. Next, it's the evolved starship. Head to Tianmerwei, Shanghai. Go and be the Lord of the Nebula. Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.